Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all today to another class of English language, and I hope you all have comprehended well the previous lectures and the topics and have understood them well. Today's topic is, however, at a glance a very easy one, reading skills, but it involves a lot of complex strategies behind it. And today we are going to learn and implement some strategies that every one of you might be struggling with. Let's move on. Okay, focusing on the targets of today, on how to improve reading skills of children, and individually this might be a great help to each one of you. The sub-targets are: what is reading comprehension to start with, and why is it important? Why do we need to know comprehension strategies? 6 effective reading strategies that we are going to cover and know them in detail. Benefits of reading. Why do we read? What does it help us in? And lastly, who is a good reader? What does it comprise of? What is reading comprehension? The simplest definition of reading comprehension is to understand what you read. So it's just not reading with the flow of words. You need to understand what is actually in the text. Second bullet, those who have studied reading prefer a definition that emphasizes that good readers, these are some of the qualities which they should have: work at understanding, they should be active, they should be intentional, and constructing meaning by using the message in the text and their own prior knowledge. Meaning, in simple words, that in front of them they have a text. For example, you have a story to read. You should be active by mind and work in understanding the text, meaning you may use your dictionaries, and you should try to comprehend the message behind the words or the text or the story the author is trying to convey it to you. Third bullet, reading comprehension requires interacting with text in various ways. Now we will know how many ways are there and how reading comprehension can connect with us as readers. Now, why is reading comprehension so important? I mean, is it only limited to only in giving exams or quizzes? Let's see. Classrooms across the nation are interspersed, meaning filled, with students who experience frustration in reading comprehension every day. So one of you might relate to this also. Often these students don't possess adequate, meaning proper, reading comprehension skills to do what is expected of them. Without comprehension, reading is just following words on a page from left to right while sounding them out. As I said earlier, it's just flipping pages and reading through the words. Simple comprehension. The words on the page have no meaning. But on the contrary, what we should be doing, the main goal of reading is to have some kind of understanding of what the writer is trying to say and make use of that information. Whether, now these are some reasons why do we read: for fact gathering, second, learning a new skill, third, or for pleasure. For example, fact gathering. When do we do this? In reading a newspaper. Learning a new skill, we might be reading a documentary or a new column on a newspaper. Or for pleasure, that's a leisure reading. For example, you read your fictional stories. That's why reading comprehension skills are so important. Without them, the reader cannot gather any information and use it to efficiently function and enjoy the richness of life. Now coming to the most essential part of this lecture, the Super 6 reading strategies. These 6 easy strategies will help your reading to be more productive and more meaningful. You need to apply these ways, these strategies while you read. Okay, so your reading becomes more meaningful and you know what you are reading and why are you reading. I'll go one by one and you can relate to them. The first one is questioning to understand, meaning you question yourself as a reader to understand the text. The explanation is I'm asking questions and looking for answers before reading, during reading, and after reading. Now the thinking stems which are there beneath, these are the ideas or the phrases that should be running in your mind. I wonder, what if this happens? Why has this happened? I think I was confused when I read this. These are some of the prompts that should be arising in your mind. Second strategy is making connections, meaning text to self, text to text, and text to the world, meaning connections which you make in your mind from what you already know, any information, any background fact that you know about the text, and in addition to what you are reading. And the phrases that should be running in your mind are, this reminds me of, and this book also remind me of a character which you probably have learned before. So you are making connections, maybe text to text, a book to a book, or the passage to yourself. You can connect it to your story, or anywhere in the world which you have heard of your friend's story, or maybe saw it on a television. Third strategy is inferring. You might have heard this term many times in your literature classes too. And the best example to quote in this manner will be Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective, you remember? So while you're inferring, what do? You question as you read to help you draw conclusions, making predictions, and reflecting on your reading. Whether the author does not tell you any straight answers, you should infer. Remember, I used to ask you, infer what is he trying to say, because you needed to deduce the information and predict what is going to happen because it was a suspense novel. And some phrases which should be going on in your mind are, I think, I'm guessing, maybe it means, perhaps that might happen in future. These are some of the examples. The fourth strategy is visualizing. Visualizing is creating pictures in your mind as you read. Very simple. For example, in a fiction story, the story starts with far away in a land surrounded with meadows, there lived three fairies. So you imagine instantly in your mind there is greenery, there are meadows, big far land, maybe mountains might be coming in your imagination. So these are visualizing pictures that are created in your mind. And some of the thinking phrases are, I'm picturing, I'm imagining, I'm seeing, I'm visualizing. So it's basically connected with your imagination. Fifth strategy, synthesizing. You combine with whatever information you know, already know in your mind, plus the new information from the text. For example, the thinking stems in your mind should be going, okay, now I get it. First I thought this might happen, but now I know that this is going to happen. I think the most probable example would be your science classes. You might be confused or doubtful with a topic, for example, translucent or opaque objects, something you already knew, half knowledge, and then after your lecture, after your teacher has delivered you some information, you have combined that information to the new and authentic information from your textbook, and now you know that, okay, light does not pass through an opaque object, it blocks the light, and some light passes through translucent, and transparent objects allow all the light to pass through. Now your concept is clear. The last but not the least, determining the importance. When you read, you might be actually determining what I need to know. For example, I give you a comprehension passage and in the end I ask you, what's the main idea? What is the author talking about? What is the moral of the story? So the phrases you will be asking yourself, the text is mainly about, or I learned the most important thing, or the author is trying to convey to me that. So basically in this strategy you are determining the important part of the reading. Why is the text written? Okay, the importance of reading. Why do we read? Why does everyone need to read? There's a good quote, I have placed it here. Reading is a basic tool in the living of a good life. So basically everything starts with reading, your understanding, your imagination, your a door to a different world. There are some of the most important advantages here. Part A, there were no television or computers. Reading was a primary leisure activity, and it still is in today's era. Reading is very, very productive and constructive. Part B, it is observed that children and teenagers who love reading have comparatively higher IQs. Intelligent quotient, your intelligence, your ability to read and write obviously increases if you are a good reader and have a habit of reading. Part C, reading helps in mental development and is known to stimulate the muscles of the eyes. Well, in my opinion, instead of tiring your eyes in front of television, you should be reading. And reading is a very good medication of your mind and to your eyes as well. This was a very interesting illustration of how a critical reader should be and what actually he or she does. So every good reader should think carefully about their reading, use their schema, meaning their imagination, ask questions to themselves, read with expression, read aloud and with good expressions, their tone, their clarity. Make sure the words look right, the pronunciation. Make sure the words sound right, the same thing. Check to see if it makes sense. If the text makes sense, then you are obviously a good reader and you are able to understand what is going on. Coming to some practice part, your home assignment includes reading this passage in the worksheet attached very carefully and apply the comprehension strategies you have learned in this lecture. Secondly, please answer the questions clearly by numbering them systematically, meaning 1, 2, 3 or ABC, and kindly mention the lesson number on top of your loose sheet which you submit. And good luck.